everybody. Welcome back to Call Time, a Theater Pod, where every role in theater matters. This is the space where we can talk about it all, where we can laugh, learn, and sometimes call out the chaos. So sign in on the sheet, because it's call time. My name is Marisa Helene Mast, and I am your hostess with the mostest. And today we're doing another Marquee Moment, which is where we take the spotlight on a show, a project, an artist, whatever, that deserves to be on your radar. So take your seats, take a sip out of that lovely overpriced intermission cup that, I mean, let's be honest, that's really what we're going to the show for, isn't it? My wallet. Anyway, we are here with the creator of the brand new musical, Daisy Jane, and I'm going to let her take it away. Hey, Lisa.
Hi, Marisa. How are you?
Good to see you.
Good to see you too. Hi, I am Lisa Marinacci, and I'm the creator, writer, and composer of Daisy Jane the Musical.
So I think, obviously, the first question that anybody would have is, what is Daisy Jane?
Daisy Jane is a Faustian pop rock musical comedy, dark musical comedy, set in modern times in the pop music industry.
Fantastic. I'm already in. I mean, obviously, because that's why you're here. And that's
Who doesn't love a great Faustian musical? Yeah.
Truly, yes.
Yes.
So where did the idea for the show spark?
Honestly, many years ago, as a kid, I was weirdly fascinated with Faustian stories. There were a lot of movies that kind of dealt with the devil as a character and sort of the temptation of getting what you really want and how far you would go for that. And there's an old Disney movie like The Devil and Max Devlin. It's very old, but some like stories like that.
Yeah.
Just always
Phantom of Paradise.
Yeah. And I was like, gosh, that would make a great musical. And I've been involved in professional musical theater since I was like 6. I worked with the Pittsburgh Civic Light Opera for many years growing up. So musicals were always at the forefront of like, I loved them, I breathed them, I lived them, you know? So I had this idea to do this for a very long time. And not until after college, I majored in writing, and not until after college was like, I think I'm going to start working on this and start developing it. And that's really where the idea sprang from. Also inspired by the pop music industry and also being morbidly fascinated by the downfall of pop stars and why so many of them die young and mysteriously and tragically, and to kind of weave that. We watch it happen, you know, all of the terrible stories and the control of the music industry even today. The whole thing with, you know, Taylor Swift and her masters and Kelly Clarkson fighting with Clive Davis and all the things you read about.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like weave it all together and put it in that Faustian frame would make a great story.
Yeah, I think that's an excellent lens to put it in, because it really all melds together a little too well.
Yeah.
Let's be real here.
Yes. Yeah.
What has the process been like up until now then with creating the show? So
it started with creating demos in New York City with some actor friends that were actually working on Broadway at the time, listening to those demos because the music, obviously I knew what the story was, but the music came first in that sense. And once we did those recordings, the script began to flesh out and the stories from there. We moved to Los Angeles, and that's when we really found the team to really start putting it together. We did a few readings out there. We did the first official stage reading with a full band, which was amazing. I love hearing my music played by a live band. That was so exciting. And then several of the actors, and we had some Broadway actors involved in that, stuck around when we said we're going to do an equity staged workshop. That was sort of like the big, let's put it on its feet with costumes. And it was limited because it was in the Festival of Los Angeles New American Musicals. So, but even with that limited budget, I guess you could say, that we had, we were able to really get a proof of concept, have an audience react, and know that, you know, we can do this. This is a show. We've got a show people like and laugh at, and and so the development kind of happened piece by piece by piece from there. Yeah.
Hey kids, let's put on a show.
Let's put on a show. You know what? The Muppets Take Manhattan, one of the best movies.
Oh, a masterpiece of cinema, which
it is.
It may honestly become a whole episode in itself. I'll be completely frank.
I love that.
Speaking of music, though, let's talk about the music of Daisy Jane.
Okay.
Did you have any particular influences when it came to writing this music?
Yes. Well, certainly since it takes place in the world of pop music. That was an influence. There, some of the music reflects pop music, not all of it, but much of it does. So that was the initial sort of influence. The music for Daisy is a little more folksy pop, and the music for Luke, who is the devil character, quite honestly, his music is very inspired by Audrey 2 and Little Shop of Horrors.
Oh,
Again, one of the
yeah.
best. I love Little Shop so much, and
Me
I
too.
actually, I can see that you do too. So there was a sort of inspiration to kind of make an Audrey 2-esque devil, a bit. That was an inspiration there. It's never always the same, but um, the yeah, yeah. And other characters have different sort of inspirations musically. There's a character of Shalisa, and she's very like Aretha Franklin music inspired because you have pop music that spans so many different genres. I tried to weave as much of it as I could into the score.
Wonderful. And so this is going to sound kind of cliche, but I haven't actually asked this yet. And I have a theater podcast when I talk about musicals, but like the age old question, which came first, the music or the lyrics?
Yeah. With Daisy Jane, a little bit of both, but typically it's the lyrics. A lot of times what I do when I write is I write scratch lyrics. I'll write just a bunch of lyrics and they're all over the place. And then start to put the music together. And then the lyrics kind of morph with the music. And then as the story develops, it really does kind of happen. And then it keeps changing once you get actors involved. So it's hard to answer that question. I'm going to say most of the time it's the lyrics.
I mean, fair. I mean, like the process, as I've been saying forever, it goes like this.
It does. It does. And with a show like Daisy Jane, like I was talking about different musical styles or pop music styles within the piece, we've got like a Latin number. There's like a 6/8 sort of sea shanty number. I mean, there's all different kinds of influences. And so in that sense, the music comes first, knowing that it's going to be like a pop single. It's going to be like an Aretha Franklin type number. It's there, but musical theater is about the story. And so the lyrics really are very important in that sense. So lyrics,
for
I'm going to say
sure.
lyrics.
Yeah. Wonderful thing. So throughout the entire process of Daisy Jane, has there been anything that has surprised you during the development?
I think the most surprising thing would probably be having professional actors, really relate to the project and really believe in the project. As a writer, sometimes you're sitting in your pajamas at home writing, and to imagine an actual cast performing that, it's a little hard to sort of get there in a way of like to really believe that's going to happen. Especially, this was the first show I wrote, so it's to imagine that, just coming out of college or as a young writer, female writer, you're like, I don't know, I'm going to try this and see what happens. But then as you go along with the process and you find actors that they want to stick with it and they do the reading and then they do the workshop, then they're asking you what's happening next. That to me is the most pleasantly surprising thing. And not only that, also musicians or music director. When we put our team together in LA, having the creative team really want to develop it with you and work on it with you and believe in the show. I think I was surprised. You kind of go through a little bit of, I don't know, is this gonna, is anybody gonna like my work? You get a little bit of that imposter syndrome. I think sometimes we all do, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah,
dealing with that, but yeah.
With the imposter syndrome, I mean, I think you don't have to be an artist to have imposter syndrome, but I feel like we feel it a little bit more.
Yes.
Just because we're fully in it. Like we're in our head a lot of the time during that process. And was there anything that, weirdly enough, through Daisy Jane, is there anything that you learned about yourself as an artist, as a person, as like...
Yes.
Yeah.
It's very hard to do it all. When we did the workshop, you can do it all, but you might become gluten intolerant. When we did the workshop, I was a producer, I was a writer and the composer, co-book writer and the composer and lyricist. And I was in it at the time. I played Daisy when we did the workshop. And that's a lot. And I learned that it's sometimes better. I mean, that was a great experience. I would never take it back. That was one of the highlights of anything I've ever done in theater. But I will definitely say that I've learned to sort of stay in your lane or your role, to really focus on that and then let everybody do their jobs, because theater takes a village, and there's, everybody believes in their part of the process. And as a writer and composer, stay at, I've learned the importance of looking at it completely from the outside and not from the inside of the show. Not to say that you can't, but for me, I appreciate now being behind the binder instead of in front of it.
Yeah, absolutely. As someone who is currently running a podcast all by myself, I can't, I am looking forward to the day where I can kind of just separate that.
Good for you. Yeah.
Thank you. But I sobbing, women in STEM. But I really appreciate all the work that you have done for Daisy Jane and everything that's coming forward for it. Another lovely cliche cheesy question that I just love, because why not? Do you genuinely have a favorite character in Daisy Jane? Or is there a self-insert? Have you put yourself in the show anywhere?
Favorite characters first, and I'm going to say two.
Yeah.
There are two side characters. Besides, I mean, there are many sides. It's a very ensemble piece. We did it with 11 actors, and every actor gets a song and or a feature. It's, there's
Awesome.
a lot. But two of those characters, I think the first one is a character called Byron. He is a very snarky assistant to the big music producer, and he very carefully orchestrates the things that pull her away from her real life and into sort of the mires of the record industry. And they're very much pitted against each other, especially at the beginning of the second act. It's just, they have a very tumultuous relationship at that point. And then by the end of the show, they have sort of a meeting of the minds when they're both kind of at the end of their ropes. And it's all been too much. And he reveals that he was a 90s one-hit wonder pop star, Byron of the Byronics, and he sold his soul. He was a one-hit wonder, and that was it. And he, his soul was taken, and then he got a job at the record company after that. And so she couldn't believe. She was like, that guy must have OD'd, and I didn't know what happened to him. And so they realized that their career trajectories were very similar. And then he winds up helping her in a very big way start the fight to save herself and to get out of this situation that she's in. So definitely Byron. And he sings a number called The Nature of the Biz, which is very kind of stride piano, snarky. There's some cabaret influences there.
Awesome.
With his character, which is a lot of fun. So Byron, and then the other character, speaking of the self-insertion, I don't see myself in this character, but there's a character named Shalisa. My name is Lisa. This character is named Shalisa, and I mentioned the Aretha influence. She's sort of the leader of the Mean Girls of Daisy Jane. They are backup singers, failed reality contestant backup singers who they're in a group called the Pop-Tarts. And so a lot of times when Daisy is featured in a concert, it's Daisy Jane and the Pop-Tarts. They later become the Weeds, Daisy Jane and the Weeds with the Z. Always with the Z.
Always.
But Shalisa is she's the one that tells Daisy a big message of the show, which is you have to be the biggest, baddest star. And the name of the song is The Biggest, Baddest Star. And she goes and lists all the ways you can do that. You take off your clothes, shave your head, get a baseball bat, like, all of the things that we know what they are. We've seen it happen on TV and the internet. So yeah, so that's those two. I would pick those two as my favorites.
Awesome. I'm already like, yes, tell me more. But
yeah.
Something.
Well, hopefully you'll get to see the show someday.
That's the point.
Right? Yes. Yes.
But speaking of characters and seeing the show at some point, you mentioned to me that there is something particularly special about how this show runs that I think everyone would be very intrigued by.
Okay, yes. So the show is framed on a reality show. It's not about that at all, but we open on a reality show that's run by Lucas Smith Jr., who is the biggest record producer at the time. And Daisy loses on that reality show. And then the story sort of takes off from there. It's also, so in the second act, as all Faustian pieces usually have, there's a trial, and Daisy proposes to Luke to get the jury, to get the people to free her. Let's sing on your reality show and see who wins. So they end up back on the reality show, and Daisy sings first. a lessons learned. And then Luke comes out with a gospel choir and sings his sort of tribute to pop music, full of cliches. And then the audience has to vote to see who wins the reality show, and whoever, basically the reality show is to see if Daisy's soul is saved. She also proposes to save the entire ensemble's souls too, and they work for Luke. So,
high stakes.
Yes, high stakes. She's in it for everybody, even the mean ones. And it's up to the theater audience, to vote, just like in a reality show. Who wins, and whoever wins, a different ending for the show is performed, a different song. So, it could be a different show each time you go see it.
Have you ever been surprised by who the audience chooses?
When we did the workshop, it was close. And that's on purpose. Again, Luke's music is very, again, it's like it's juicy, right?
Right.
But Daisy always won. I was just kind of really hoping that Luke would win. But I know that should we have a longer run, definitely Luke would win somehow. And that would be so fun. So, I don't want to reveal what happens if he does win, because we had a whole plan for that. But so choose your own ending.
I love that a lot. And so, speaking of which, I would love, because I'm very excited to know what's coming next for Daisy Jane, I would love for you to stare down the camera and manifest the future of Daisy Jane.
Well, my wish for Daisy Jane is, we did that workshop in Los Angeles. So we had our West Coast sort of premiere, and that was a workshop. It wasn't a full production. So I'm manifesting that Daisy Jane will have a East Coast full production sometime in the near future.
Absolutely. I manifest not only full production, I manifest for Daisy Jane full productions on both coasts.
Yes.
I manifest.
Thank you.
A cast album. I manifest really cool. I don't know what, this is the first thing that came to mind. I also manifest like a 54 Below show for Daisy Jane.
Yes, we would love that. It would be great.
I think that'd be really, really cool. And I manifest that this grabs the attention of all the people that you would ever want involved, and have them begging, be put on a wait list to be featured.
Kind. Thank you so much. That's it's so kind of you, what you do. And there's so many of us out there that are writing, and we're trying to get our work produced. And when you say things like cast album and like all of that, theater is expensive. Theater is so expensive. And when we did the workshop, we raised $10,000 to do it, and that money, it's gone. Gone.
Yeah.
And the next, had I had some more money, a cast album would have happened at that time. And it's kind of one of those things that I'm always like, and I could still, and it's easier to do albums now, since that was a couple years ago, so with home recording equipment and things like that. So hopefully that will happen. But the live recording right now, we've got that.
Yes.
Yeah, I know. It's just so, there's so much, that I'd like to do. So.
Yeah. And I can already, it is written. I feel it in my bones. I feel it in my soul. I really feel
thank you.
Like the development for Daisy Jane is gonna come rolling by real quick, and it's gonna be awesome. And I'm very excited for you, Lisa.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm gonna cry now. Thank you.
No. So before we start crying, I want to thank you so much for being here, and I want to thank all of you out there in Living Land for tuning in and signing in on the call sheet for this marquee moment of Call Time, a Theater Pod. My name is Marisa Helene Mast. You are the audience. Bye-bye now.
Then you would see, come to the other side and stick with. But can I take it back? Rewind the scene. Would I listen to the warning signs and save me from me? Thought I was so strong, but I was so wrong. The station had got the best of me. Remix! Now my first DUI in the second grade. From a popsicle made of vodka lemonade. Busted out of rehab in the underwear. Weighing my juice box like I just don't care. Keep trying.
locked, there's no way in. You try your very best, but you never win. You go to every show, study every dance, but how far will you go to get your chance?
Why don't you just stay?
Don't wanna live in a world of illusion.
Don't wanna live in a world without you. Go on and break, 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 break.
With Botox and sprayed with a tan, defending my jobby with something to prove. But you can't tell I'm mad cause my eyebrows won't move. I'm no Anderson Cooper, I'm only a stooge.
Nowhere to go, nowhere to go but up. Nowhere to go, nowhere to go but up. Unless you go down.